Honestly, bro's killing himself more than Subaru's killed himself. Comment, I love seeing you for very meaningful reasons and not superficial plot reasons, but we got shit we're trying to figure out right now. We need you to fuck off. What if we just never come in contact? If we never come in contact with Yuri, does it allow the universe to continue? So it is the perception of two. As long it, so they can exist at the same time. Just, oh, so what Yuri needs to do is let the real one interact as we do shit in the background. He's just endlessly killing himself. He's trying to think that, hey, if I kill myself in different ways, maybe that'll be the answer. No, just stop killing yourself. I know that's a wild statement. The trash compactor? Okay, just don't talk like that while I'm hyping up your characters on, okay? I'll need to be added to the list. This is only their third loop? Shit. Imagine getting dropped that information right at the beginning. It's keeping us here until we get all the information that the silver key wants. We've never had this before because usually we just leave with Setsu. But by Setsu hearing that there was an anomaly, they leave early, which allows for Chippy to come in and explain this. Now, I'm sure there'll be some people who try saying, Brandon, you're overreacting, over-exaggerating, you're clickbaiting me. Well, technically I am. At the same time, I'm also technically being true. Now, I'm not saying as a fucking whole. Use your brains, okay? But there is arguments to be made that this endless death spiral that Yuri put themselves through was more rapid in succession, more intense than a lot of arcs in ReZero, where ReZero has that kind of prolonged, usually we gotta, like, I mean, the latest ReZero season, sure, it was kind of endless, but I still felt like there was more buffer window before shit hit the fan. Yuri's out here putting themselves in a trash compactor, slitting a throat, electrocuting, throwing yourself into hyper. Bro thinks, I must just have to die, so I'm just going to continuously find new ways to die, and he feels it every time. That is wild, but thankfully we do have our answer. We were able to escape this very sticky predicament, and we are now seemingly at the point when the ship flees. We wake up after the ship has flown, because usually we wake up and we hear, hey, you know, we've already left the planet or whatever. This is how many people are on board. So we are actually before this now. And that means, with what we learned, that we have to save Setsu during this escape. We are getting closer and closer to the end, and it's all starting to line up. Now, of course, you got this far in the video, you know what to do. Drop a like, show your support, subscribe, ring that bell if you haven't already, and Patreons where you catch those full uncut live reactions and analysis. They do live over there, which does help fund the channel and videos just like the one you're watching. So, the ultimate answer in terms of what we needed to do, I actually thought what they were building up by the end was we just needed to talk to everyone, get as much information. We know there's no Gnosia on board. We can just keep talking to people. They know we're safe. We know they're safe. We get information. In fact, no, we needed to just be a fly on the wall, because what normally happens is Setsu wakes us up, sometimes a different character, but Setsu's typically the one who wakes us up. They say, hey, do you remember? And we leave. But by there being an anomaly on board, that being the bug Yuri, what ends up happening is Setsu leaves the room. Yuri's still in the room. Chippy comes in and actually drops the bombshell. You actually save Setsu. Setsu doesn't remember it. You don't remember it. But the only reason Setsu's on board is because of your action. We never would have had that information if there wasn't an anomaly in the timeline, which is why the orb, the key, kept us in this for so long, because we needed this information. Because as long as no one acknowledges there's two Yuris, Yuri could exist in this entire loop the whole time. Like, could have just been a fly on the wall, but now we have our answers. And I think what's so interesting, when we reveal to Setsu that, you know, we are a bug, Setsu's only at their third loop. This is at the beginning of them looping. This is all fresh. What we ended up doing is some Doctor Who nonsense, and it makes total sense, and very few time travel series get this right. The fact that Yuri, near the end of their looping adventure, is the reason that Setsu at the beginning of their looping adventure has this information. But what makes it so interesting is we know most of the show, Setsu, actually all of this show prior to this arc, Setsu was ahead of us in loops. Yeah, I've been doing this 100 times. Yeah, I've been doing this 50 times. That means every time Setsu has interacted with us, they have known we were a bug. But they never told us because, of course, we can't reveal information early. So it's, oh, that's so interesting. And now we know that a future Yuri ends up saving Setsu. So It seems like the purpose of the key right now is to make sure the timeline gets to the point where everything can happen in the order it needs to. We have to protect Setsu. Will Yuri even be able to live after this? Bug Yuri? I don't know. I do think there's a possibility there's a timeline where Yuri died and this Yuri can continue to exist. Or actually, potentially, as long as we just stay very far away from the other Yuri, we can still continue. But either way, that's super interesting. I also love the little moments where we're trying to figure out different ways. We have the engineer, because if there's no one on board that's a threat, Levy would be able to tell us who the engineer is. The engineer reads our credentials, sees that it's a bug, and we disintegrate. So that was super interesting. But I think my favorite part was actually Best Girl. I mean, she, bless her heart, man, she has had an interesting dynamic with Yuri across this entire show. But the fact that she's able to get it through their head, like, hey, like, if you're not real, then I'm not real. And then we're just like, yeah, we already know your information about the mother failed experiment. And she's like, you fucking smarty pants, you son of a bitch. It's so interesting because it really gets through. And honestly, in my opinion, the true ending is these two living happily ever after in a galaxy far, far away. Will it happen? Probably not. But yeah, I mean, I've been saying it since damn near the beginning of me covering this show. It's the director, I'm pretty sure. Being someone who was involved in Steins Gate, yeah, they were the only one capable of handling this. I think there's very few shows that use time travel in this amount of complexity, as well as, you know, Steins Gate, Doctor Who, Gnosia. It's a very limited pool that you can pull from, and they're doing a fantastic job. It was hidden right underneath our nose. We were so worried about why. I mean, if you're like me anyway, this the whole time I'm thinking, like, I did think he just needed to be a fly on the wall, but I figured the reason we were continuously looping was that we needed to almost manipulate from the background and let Yuri survive this loop as we helped in the shadows. I thought that was going to be the play. No, they went so much more complex, but I think way more thought-provoking with the writing. And the fact that, yes, that is the thing. It's not the fact that we're a bug. That has literally no reasons about why we're here. It's the fact that the orb, the key, wanted us here to learn a piece of information. We learn that piece of information, we move to the next. That's the whole objective. Every loop, there's something we'll probably gain, but sometimes there's a piece of information that needs to be gained, and that's what it was. And now we're at a point where we have to seemingly save Setsu right at the beginning before normally we would wake up. Fucking mind-blowing, man. Also, unless I'm just misremembering, I think they changed the ending again. It was way more glitchy and distorted. It was fucking creepy and cool. I loved it. Like, what the fuck? This show is absolutely awesome. I think it's a 10 out of 10. I don't think there's a single issue with it. Production has remained high quality. Voice actors and characters remain thought-provoking, and the biggest praise I can give it is it reminds me of watching Doctor Who, the GOAT of time travel, and that is the best praise I could give a show like this. Thoughts down below. I think we finally have our answers. I'm sure someone will get mad that I say he suffered worse than Subaru. I'm not saying as a whole, but I think he gave Subaru a run for his money, damn it. Thoughts? Drop a like, share your support, subscribe, ring that bell, and Patreon, full live reactions do live over there, which does help fund the channel, which is why I love to give those video shoutouts to the patrons, because they make it all possible. Alright, so today we got V-Sky, Kakashu, Chris, DSPG, Maple Storm, Corvus Null, Cute Cutes, and we also have Jaden for life. So I appreciate the support. Please take care. Y'all have a good one.